When my mom died of breast cancer, I was just 14. It was very, very traumatic, very, very traumatic for me, very hard for me. We were very, very close, and yeah, it was a hard time. It was only a matter of weeks that she had the diagnosis, and then she died. It was like late October of the 76, and she died November 8th, 1976. It had already spread to her liver by the time they found it. There'd be a possibility that I would get it as well. I was a dancer and a gymnast, so I was always trying to, be on the extra thin side and that sort of thing. And you can never be thin enough when you're in that kind of environment. So it was always a struggle. I didn't never liked having breasts because, as a gymnast and a dancer, they got in the way actually. Yeah, I just never liked my body at all. I got a call from the lab, not even the doctor's office. It was the lab who had done the biopsies, and the person over the phone just said, "You have breast cancer," just as matter of factly as, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" And it didn't really come as a surprise to me because of all the testing. And previously, I had gotten, abnormal scans and biopsies. And then I got the call from my actual gynecologist, and she said, you know, that you have breast cancer. And I said, I know already. And she said, they weren't supposed to tell you. I'm the one who's supposed to tell you. My first reaction is I just have to get rid of the breasts no matter what. I just wanted them gone. If they're going to hurt me, I just want them gone. I'm one of the very, very, very lucky ones. It was caught early enough. It was only on one side, the left side. And, but I had both of them removed just prophylactically because there was something like a precancerous thing they discovered on the other side. And when my mother died, I think I kind of even knew back then if I ever was in this position to have gotten breast cancer, that I just wanted them removed and nothing to be replaced. I'm just one of these like all natural kind of people. I think it is what it is. And the thought of having something artificial inside of me was just not at all something that I would consider. I think something about going flat just empowered me. After I had my surgery and recovered and everything, I did seek out people who had this done because at that point I didn't know a single person. It was just something, like I said, I had made the decision so many years ago, and I had to convince my doctors this is what I wanted to do. He was not into it at all. He said, "Are you sure? You're really sure that that's what you want?" Even his female nurses, "I don't think you're going to like your decision at all." And I said, "This is really what I want to do." And it was the first time in my life I ever really exerted myself. They listened. I was shocked actually because no one ever really listens to me. I just always think of myself as that shy little girl, and no one's going to pay attention to me. But I stood my ground. I said, please, I just don't want reconstruction. And he kept insisting, and the nurse did as well, the female nurse. And I said, I really just want to go flat. Please let me. And I woke up from the surgery, and thankfully it was what I asked for. Well, the first time I was photographed was for the Breast in the Sea project, and then I was very, very scared. We talked in a circle and just spoke about like our life story and things like that, and the cancer journey, and got very emotional, obviously telling everybody telling their stories, and I guess we just developed the bond just in that few minutes. But when it actually came time to take off my shirt, I was trembling. I couldn't do it for a long while. And some people had already removed their shirts when we were speaking in the circle. And I remember, it makes me emotional just think about it. But Melanie came to me. We all had stood up at that point because people were removing their shirts. And there was something about doing that. It made me so scared because just as a woman, you don't remove your shirt in public. We were out on the beach, and just the thought of it, my body was just shaking like crazy. And she came up to me, and I'll never forget this. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she gave me this hug that was so different than any other hug that I've ever gotten. Not that I've gotten that many hugs in my life. It just doesn't happen. But she hugged me like forward and just held me so tightly. It makes me cry just thinking about it. I'm shaking. But she held me so tightly, and I don't remember exactly her words, but she whispered in my ear something, everything will be all right. I'm here for you. And something about that moment and the way she hugged me, and after she released me, she held me like firmly, just square. We were looking right at each other and said, we're going to be all right. And she said the reason why she hugs like that is so that we're heart to heart. Now that we don't have breasts in the way, our hearts are closest to each other. And she said, always remember that our hearts are connected now like that, and everything will be all right. And there was something about that moment that just, I don't know if she even knows this. I think I've told her a few times, but it changed my life. I took off my shirt at that point, and somehow I just felt, I breathed, and I was like, oh, this is what feeling kind of confident in yourself feels like. And I've never experienced that before. From that moment on, I've been just taking my shirt. I was still a little bit nervous for the Grace Project because, again, it was a year or so that had passed from the previous time. But once I did it, I was like, okay, I was nervous, but I was happy to share my scars if it would help anybody else out there. That was, what I want to do now is just help other people in that respect, find that, feeling of being okay with your body, even if it has scars on it. I would tell the little girl in me, that the little girl that I was, everything will be all right. It's it's okay to be shy still. I'm still shy, but everything will be all right. You'll be all right. You will get through this. You'll get through this, little Irene, and somehow, be okay.